Let's have a walk through the stencil part of my new collection with creative expressions. This is all part of the Head Start collection, and all of these pieces are designed to give you a shortcut or immediate access straight into your creativity, just to get you creating faster, more confidently, and with a sense of ease. We have stamps, stencils, which is what this video is going to be all about, collage papers, collage medium, gessos, inks, all sorts of things happening. You'll be able to find this collection at independent retailers and janedavenport.com. I always have everything on my website. But let's have a look at these stencils. And rather than just show you the stencils themselves, that could be a bit boring, I'm going to show you through one of my art journals, which is a work in progress, and show you where I've been playing with and testing all of the different stencils. This first one is called Lace Face, and even the packaging is nice. You can reuse the insert that's in there. The stencils themselves are really lovely, strong, robust mylar. This set is called Top and Tail. It's got the mermaid there, plus a beautiful mermaid scale print that you can repeat. Here I've just sprayed through various inks and blotted them from one side of the paper to the other. This next stencil is called Sultry Citizen. And I love this page because on one side I've got a drawing created with the stencil and beautiful colors, and on the other side I've got a drawing of a water dragon that lives by my pool that I drew with my little nephew. This stencil is called Windswept Whimsy. I'm just showing you how it's got that little laser cut logo on there as well, just so that in a few years time when you're still using these stencils and you've forgotten where you got them from, the little logo's right there. And stencils are just such a wonderful way, like I said, of kickstarting your art, of heading off into a grand journey with a lot of freedom. So often we're limited with our time for creativity, and stamps and stencils and washi tapes and collage papers, all of these things, these creative tools, just help us get into that creative flow, and it's so easy to make these things your own. I love this girl's face. I created her when I was testing papers for one of my books, for my Whimsical Girls art journal book. This is one of my favorite little pieces from the Fabulous Figures book. She's called Beautiful Dreamer. And in her red dress here, which is also one of the collage papers, she reminds me of the emoji of the senorita lady dancing and having a good time. This next stencil is called Dainty Dame, and it's a two-part stencil. It's got a stencil and a mask, so that you can either work around the outside of the stencil, and inside this is some stamps that are in an upcoming collection, or you can work inside the stencil. Did I say inside or outside? Anyway, you can go both ways. Use it both ways, spray through it, stamp through it, whatever you like, whatever takes your fancy. You could just use just the face part if you wanted to create a different hairstyle. This is another version of the lace face, and I also love just using the face. This is the beautiful part of stencils, is you could just decide which parts of them you want to use. You could use the beautiful patterns of the laces. There, I've done that on other pages as well. And here is another version of, here she is, Windswept Whimsy. And can you see how the face is quite different? The stencil is a little bit more illustrative. And then when I've created this piece here, also using some of the coordinating washi tape. So this is the Head Start set. There's 3 tapes inside, and they all coordinate with these stamps and stencils from this collection. Please excuse the ink on my hands. That's always there. Washi tape is a play on words of just regular washi tape, which is a very, very fine, beautifully printed tape, decorative tape that originally came from Japan, and it's made to be removable so for gift giving, but in the mixed media and papercraft world we use it for all sorts of different things. And I've got a whole collection of washi tapes with eyes. I just think they're remarkably handy little tools. And then on the right hand side of the page we have the face-to-face stencil set, which has a set of different faces, a set of different wigs, and a set of bodies, so that you can layer and create to your heart's content these little figures. So I've got that just simple little body, and you can move the stencil in and out to make the body wider or slimmer if you want to. You've got all of these different little faces that you can coordinate, and the different little wigs, the little hairdos, and different faces. You can draw through them, like just trace with a pencil. You can use stamping ink, you can spray through them, whatever you like. Here are some more girls that I've started to build, and look at that beautiful shimmering paint. This is the body, the free-flowing body that is there, and then I've used two different little faces and I've also painted them with the new Joyful Gesso. And here they've got their little space buns, little just as a start, and then you can customize and finish them and do whatever you like with them. In this one I've just used the little face stencil to create the little face, and then I've drawn the little body around it and done her hair, but I could use the stencil or freeform, whatever I feel like. Here are three different girls again, using the different paints from the collection. Oh, they're so handy. I'll have a whole dedicated video to this, but I'm pretty sure in just showing you just like this, you're going to understand how fun this stencil set is. And in our final little example, this is Glamour Waves again, in the reverse version of the one that I showed you earlier. And when you start changing them around and modifying what you create with the stencil, this is just a starting point, a little guide. It's really surprising how you can make these your own just by changing the sizes of features, the placement, all sorts of different things. So let's have a little look at how I might be using the stencils and creating this in action. Now, this part of the video I've taken from a live stream. I've put it into fast motion. I'm using a waterproof stamping ink called Squid Ink, which is from my collection, with one of my heart sponges and a batten blender just to build up the colour. There was a little bit of watercolour sitting there already, and I'm just popping a little bit of that washi tape here and there just to sort of junk the page up a little bit more, and trimming some of the tape, putting it back on the same face from whence it came. And actually all of the artwork for the washi tapes came from this journal, so that is why they all fit very nicely to the stamps and stencils from the Head Start collection. You can of course use them standalone just as tape, however you like, as a fun washi tape, but you can also use them just in all sorts of different creative ways. I like to have a lovely colourful field and then add just the eyes in, and somewhere in amongst crazy colour and abstract background, and then draw the face from there. Now let's get to colouring this face and adding a bit more ooh la la to it. I'm using some musical markers just to add some paint onto the tape itself, which helps it settle into the page. I'm going to use layer cake to add a little bit of flesh colour there, a little bit of skin tone. And of course you can build it lighter, darker, whatever suits you in the moment. Layer cake, which in case you've never seen this before, is my own paint, and it's got the qualities of watercolour, like the ease of watercolour pans, the lovely opacity and creaminess of gouache, and the layability of acrylic, but it is a water-based paint. On the washi tape itself, I'm using some of the Joyful Gesso in Skipper Beat Sienna, and then just layering the layer cake, and I've got a couple of different palettes here, the ice cream slice and the sushi roll. Sorry, sometimes the names just make me laugh because they're cute. And then this is what I was talking about. It's just so easy to customize. So yes, there's a face there already, and the nose and the mouth are positioned, but I don't have to live with it that way. I've painted over them, and I can reposition the nose, the lips, and I've even given her a little bit more chin, and you'll see that as we keep going. Just as a fun exercise in changing the face a little bit. And I've added some lighter tones to bring out the parts of the face that, well, come out at you, that would be catching the light, like the bridge of the nose, the ball of the nose, the top of the lip, and the chin, a little bit on the neck there, and of course on the cheekbones. At this stage, it's always going to look very patchy and florid and over bright and this and that, but we just keep working away. This is what art's all about. And the way I tend to work on my art, especially my journals and especially faces, and I'm always drawing and painting faces because, well, it's just my favorite thing to draw and paint. Because I've used a stencil, and I've even given myself that little fast forward of using the washi tape eyes. It's like a bit of collage there. Because that came together so quickly, it lets me get really experimental and play with just different ideas for myself, different colors. And I find that very, very relaxing but energy giving. Like, it fills up my creativity tank to not be worried as I create, to really just delve into my curiosity and challenge, because I haven't invested a huge amount of time to even get this far. It's all happened quite quickly. So in my mind, it's a trick that I'm playing on myself. It doesn't matter if I mess things up or ruin it or make great big mistakes or whatever other negative claptrap. I can push that and keep that away. I can keep it at bay and just let the fun of the moment happen, because this is all happening quickly. It's going to be a quick creative session. So I've used a color in the background, which I may never have used as a background color before. Bright orange. This is vitamin C orange from my Brights palette, from the neutrals palette of my watercolor collections. And why not? The face is so warm with those cheeks and all the layers of corals and pinks that I just thought, wow, I just love these. Now, I'm using some of the paint over pens, and depending when you're watching this, the paint over pens have a story behind them. We had flooding, a natural disaster throughout my whole region, and I don't know why I laughed then. It wasn't funny. And our warehouse, our JDHQ, was flooded. And the last thing to arrive, the thing that was closest to the door, was all of these fabulous new paint over pens. So most of them were destroyed and we lost most of them. But we had some, and this was part of a special bundle. Depending on when you are watching this, depends if there are any left. Maybe one day we will get these in again. I'm just explaining what these are. They are paint pens. So I'm playing with colours. Purple and orange aren't complementaries. They're both secondary colours, and they're very vibrant and jazzy next to each other, especially a lovely cool pinky purple and a lovely yellowy orange, like these two. And they're really, really bright, but in an unusual way. They're colours that I wouldn't usually use as a background and as hair, especially together. But like I said, because I started with a tool, with a stencil, and accelerated that creative process with the collage, with the washi tape, I'm feeling, really jazzy. And like I said, just challenging myself and doing all sorts of different things, because it's always fun to play with your creative time and to feel that sense of joy and not have to try and create masterpieces or the best work you've ever done. Very often, very, very often in the history of art on the planet, very, very often, this is where the genesis, the idea in messy little pieces comes from: play, experimentation, curiosity, and then you can always refine something and make it into your masterpiece once you've got some fun ideas together. So I'm using the paint over pens in a variety of colours to add pattern straight into the hair, which, to be completely honest, more than anything else, is fun. And I know this is something that I will definitely do again, adding patterns into the hair like this, because it was a lot of fun in all the different colours. And now that I've found this, like I've accidentally stumbled on this idea of doing this for myself, I would definitely play with this concept again, and maybe I'll get it into a bit more of an organised pattern, and might have the colours going in a more of a rainbow order. I sort of had to engineer that as I went, and I think it's a really, really fun thing that I just did for myself. And I thought, wow, you know what? I think I might add blue. Now, normally my go-to background, or one of them, is inky blue rather than a jet black, which leaves you not very much creative room. I can always make things darker. It's harder to make things lighter. But by putting this ink blue over that bright orange, they are complementary colours. So I knew they were going to slate off or grey off, but still there would be some orange sticking around. There would be some pure blue here and there, which you can see as it's drying, as it's puddling. But I'm going to get a really nice neutral, which I thought might look better, or might let this patterning happen, stand out, this patterning on her hair, and get her to just jump off the page a little more. I'm adding white highlights with the Sugar Cube White from the Candy Dippers. Oh, these little tiny gel-based paints with their own little brush. Fabulous little creatures. I'm just popping that stencil back to compare. Of course, it's very similar, but it's gone in its own little direction. She's changed. Even using the washi tape that goes with it. All of these things, like I said, they're just a head start. They're designed as a stepping stone to your own creativity. And I had a lovely comment the other day, someone saying every time they create with my stencils or washi or stamps, it feels like a collaboration with me, which I personally find very, very rewarding, because I just love to think of other artists like myself out there having fun, enjoying themselves, and feeling like they are collaborating. We're collaborating together with our art, and I think collaborations are terrific. So this was a very quick version of how she has come along. If you want to see more videos, you can see them on janedavenport.com or in my Facebook group. I do live streams in there all the time, and occasionally on my page, sometimes on my Instagram. You can find everything that you are seeing here, including Stockists, at janedavenport.com, or creative expressions for this fabulous, fabulous collaboration, which I couldn't be more happy with, and I hope you absolutely love it too.